Justin, team selection, everyone wants Sean Darcy to hopefully get back in that lineup. How's the big fella looking?
Yeah, well, he's looking great. He's in good spirits. Clearly, it's a pretty important box for him to tick, main training. So, yeah, hopefully he gets through that and he plays. But, yeah, we won't know until after training.
What does it do? I know this is sort of still in its infancy, the Luke and the Sean look-alike. Him coming back, though, is it restricted minutes potentially for Sean?
Well, it will be. Yeah, he'll take a little bit of time to build his fitness and get back to playing large ruck minutes like he did last year and has done for us in the past. So it'll look a little bit different in the early stages, whether it's this week or next. But yeah, it gives us flexibility to use Luke in different roles. I think we probably forget was that Luke was developing into a really good key forward for us before Sean got injured last year, and I think he had 18, 20 goals on the board by the halfway mark of the season. So he can play in a number of different roles, and so can Sean for that matter.
So does that potentially look maybe Sean playing a little bit more forward in the infancy and then tag teaming and potentially?
We'll work that out later. Yeah, they both have different strengths in the ruck as well, so it's a bit horses for courses.
Luke's first month's been pretty impressive though, hasn't it? Obviously more ruck time and he's been the main man in there and he's done really well.
Yeah, he's done really well, and his strength is ground level and obviously around the ground. But sometimes against the bigger boys in the ruck, it can take the energy out of him and they can get across the line and stop his strengths. So it'd be horses for courses. So it'd be nice to have them both in the team.
Would people underestimate how much of a loss Michael Frederick is for you guys?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. He plays a really important role for us. He's got elite speed in our front half. He forces defenders, I'd imagine, to make quick decisions, and sometimes they get that wrong off the back of him going with such intensity and speed. So yeah, it's a loss for us. He's an important player, but we've got players ready for the opportunity.
What does Swether have to do to
get through? We'll get through most of it. I'm not 100% sure what we've got planned for him, but just needs to get through his planned loads.
That'd be a pretty crucial one, wouldn't it? Because the two of them working up the ground as well, that's obviously ideal with the plan as well. Yeah,
absolutely. They're both important players for us. So, I hope we've at least got Switter.
You spoke earlier in the year, I think it was round one after the win against Brisbane, being able to sort of just ease up and then go through in there and potentially a sign of maturity from the team. A lot of distractions around the result and the outcomes, and speaking with AFL and that, how does the team sort of feel like they've handled it so far?
Good from what I've seen. And we've got a process that once my meeting's done on Monday, we move on and we look out the front window and focus on the team we're playing. And the players had a day off today. They look really switched on this morning, so that's a good sign. And I mean, a lot gets made externally about maybe one moment or the last 4 minutes, but when you review the game holistically, and thought we did a lot right in that game, which has maybe got lost externally. But I thought our contest, the way we set the ground up, was really strong. Like I said, we did a lot right, so take a lot of positives out of the game as well.
Alex said he wasn't too keen about a captain's challenge or a captain's call. What do you think should players be able to have that opportunity?
Well, I think as an industry, we jump at shadows, and until it becomes a theme, I would just leave it alone.
Has that been emphasised to the players as well? We just must, after the Monday, we must deal with this and just move on to make sure that it doesn't affect us? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and these things pop up, and probably the external noise has hung around a little bit longer on this week and this occasion, but our players have moved on. Didn't hear any talk of it yesterday. Didn't hear any talk of it this morning. We're looking forward to a great challenge this weekend against one of the best teams in the comp.
You talked about your four-quarter performance against the Blues. The midfield obviously looks slightly different with Andy playing a slightly different role. Can you tell us about how pleased you've been with their performance so far?
It's a slightly different role is a good way to put it, because there's not much different. I just think we've got a good mix going through there. We've got some bigger bodies than what we probably had last year consistently. And Andy and Caleb have given us not only the inside grunt but a bit of the outside run, and I thought they were great against Carlton on the weekend. Not only their ability to hunt the ball, but hunt the man and force Carlton first possession into our clearances. So, we need to do a bit of work on making sure we cash in on that dominance. But I think our midfield's been a real strength of ours for the first 4 weeks of the year. They're going to get it's a great challenge for them this week against one of the better midfields in the comp.
Is that Port trio of Paul Francis, Butters and Rosie one of the best in the comp at the moment?
Oh, I don't sit there and rank midfields, but in certain aspects of the midfield, when you look at the stats as a collective, they're at the top end, especially centre bounce. So they've got a good mix of inside and outside in that midfield, and speed and agility and ball winning pressure. So they're up there.
Are you planning for Jeremy Finlayson to play?
We're planning until we're here. Otherwise, from the AFL, we're planning for him to play.
That midfield trio, especially, but the other guys in there as well. Willem Drew can play a role, Ollie Wines, Travis Post, whatever, but they've also got a great tendency to hit the scoreboard. How do you limit that damage?
It's stopping them from winning the ball, and that has to be our goal. Get it going our way rather than their way. I think the way we set the ground up, we deny the opposition certain aspects of their game, and especially the overlap run and hopefully the momentum they get within some aspects of their game. So, I think as a midfield group, we've shown that we've been able to be really accountable, run really strong defensive patterns when required, and then win it and get it going our way and test the opposition out. That's the other thing. We want to make sure that we put something back at Port. Can't just play a really defensive game and sit back and try and cover off all their strengths. We've got some strengths in our game. I think we're playing some really good footy, and we need to test them out the other way.
I know there's no easy games from week to week, but it sort of seems as though the defence each week is coming up against just a massive task. You had the Twin Towers last week and you got the second best attack in the competition. There's no easy games for the boys down back, is there?
No, they wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. I spoke about it leading into last week's game about the supply that Carlton had been getting, mid-60s in terms of inside 50s. It's going to put a lot of pressure on our backs, and it's a very similar situation this week. So we're able to keep Carlton to up until the last 4 minutes, something like maybe 45 inside 50s and 55 points. So what we do up the field is going to be critical. To help give our backs a bit of a break.
But not just defenders, you must be really pleased with the pressure. I know the words the number 17 Smothers was talked about a lot this week, and how much pressure you're putting on the other side.
And that's been trademark of our game this year. Not only our tackle pressure, but I think desperation to be able to come forward and get frontal pressure on the opposition, and that's helping our backs in those contests and helping them hold up.
What makes Port Adelaide and Adelaide Oval difficult? Because you've actually got an okay record on Adelaide Oval, but just never been able to get over the top of Port there.
Yeah, okay, didn't know that. I think once they get a bit on a roll, momentum can get a hold of you, and they really get fueled off the crowd, and it can get really loud and be like a cauldron. So I know that's been the case a few times. We've coughed up. Played some really good footy against Port, but there's been periods of the game where they've got on top and scored heavily. I know the crowd gets up and about and really supports them hard. So we'll be ready for that. We've done a lot of work on that aspect of the game, and like I said before, need to make sure we get the source right and contest right and get the game played where we need it played.
Neil Erasmus, is he potentially one player that would come in if Freddie or Sam doesn't come?
Yeah, definitely in the mix. Yep.
What have you seen his development in probably the last 6 months, 12 months?
Oh, he's developing in all aspects of his game. He's stronger, fitter. He's getting better with his execution and ball winning. So I've been really proud of the way he's handled the disappointment of being out of the team early in the season. He sees that he's got some pretty good players ahead of him, but he's doing everything he can to bridge that gap and earn his opportunity. So if it comes up this week, he'll be ready.
With Jager obviously being the sub for 2 weeks in a row, how do you approach that? Can you keep being a sub week in, week out, or he got a
little bit more game time last week. We brought him on a little bit earlier, which that helps progress his build. And that'll be a call for match committee whether we can go with him again as a sub or he needs to come into the side.